Welcome back to Dev Errors Fixed. Today, UnicodeDecodeError. UTF-8 codec can't decode byte 0xe9 invalid continuation byte. It shows up the moment you read a file that was saved in a different encoding than Python assumed, and it can be baffling if you don't know what encodings are. We'll reproduce it live, understand exactly why Python chokes, and fix it cleanly. Let's go. First about it, the idea. A text file on disk is really just a sequence of bytes. To turn those bytes into letters, you need an encoding, a rulebook that maps bytes to characters. When you open a file in text mode, Python decodes the bytes using an encoding, and by default it assumes UTF-8. Now, if the file was actually saved in a different encoding, say Latin one, some bytes won't make sense as UTF-8. For example, the letter E is a single byte, 0xe9 in Latin 1, but in UTF-8 that byte can only appear as part of a multi-byte sequence. Python sees it standing alone, decides it's not valid UTF-8, and raises UnicodeDecodeError. Let's watch it happen. Here's exactly what goes wrong. Our config file contains the word café, and it was saved in Latin 1, where E is the single byte 0xe9. We open the file with the plain open, no encoding specified, so Python decodes it as UTF-8. It reads along fine CEF, and then it hits the OXE9. In UTF-8, a byte in that range announces the start of a multi-byte character and must be followed by specific continuation bytes, but here it's followed by a new line, which isn't a valid continuation. Python can't make a character out of it, so it stops and raises UnicodeDecodeError, telling you the exact byte and position. The bytes were never the problem, we just handed them to the wrong decoder. Let's build the broken version so you can see it. This is read.py. Its job is to read the config file into a string and print it. Right now the reading line is a placeholder. Let's fill it in with a normal open and run it. Here is the read filled in, a plain open of the config file in text mode with no encoding given, so Python uses its default UTF-8. That single choice, or rather that missing choice, is the whole problem because our file isn't UTF-8. Let's run it and watch Python choke on that one byte. We run it and there it is, UnicodeDecodeError, UTF-8 codec can't decode byte 0xe9 in position 8. Invalid continuation byte. Read the message. It's remarkably precise. It tells you the exact byte 0xe9 and exactly where it choked, position 8, right at the A in café. Python read the first bytes fine and stopped dead at the one that isn't valid UTF-8. Now the fix. The fix is to decode with the right rulebook. If you know the file is Latin 1, just say so. Pass encoding equals Latin 1 to open, and those same bytes decode perfectly into café. If you're not sure of the encoding and just don't want to crash, you can pass errors equals replace, which swaps any undecodable byte for a placeholder character instead of raising. And if you want full control, open the file in binary mode and decode the bytes yourself once you know the encoding. The cleanest answer is almost always the first one. Find out the file's real encoding and name it. Let's apply it. Here is the fixing code. We add one argument to open. Encoding equals Latin 1. The encoding the file was actually saved in. That's the whole change. Now Python decodes 0xe9 as E exactly as intended and the read succeeds. Same file, same bytes, right decoder. Let's run it again. Same command and now it just works. It prints name equals café, café, price equals 5. No error, because we told open the file's real encoding. That's 0xe9 byte decoded cleanly into an A. The bytes on disk never changed. We simply stopped decoding them as something they aren't. That's the fix. Quick recap, a file is just bytes and an encoding is the rulebook that turns them into characters. Python's open defaults to UTF-8, so when a file was saved in something else like Latin 1, a byte such as 0xe9 isn't valid UTF-8 and you get UnicodeDecodeError. The clean fix is to name the file's real encoding equals Latin 1. If you'd rather never crash, use errors equals replace. and when you need control, read the raw bytes in binary mode and decode them yourself. The bytes are rarely wrong, you just have to decode them with the rule book they were written in. A quick note: reproducing these errors safely and explaining the fix line by line takes real work. If it helps you, the wallets are on screen and there's a Ko-fi link below. Every tip funds the next one. Thank you. That's UnicodeDecodeError reproduced and fixed. Once you picture a file as bytes that need the right decoder, the message finally makes sense, and the fix is usually one argument. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Tell me in the comments which error to break down next, and I'll see you there.